Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Member Surveys That Bring Results. Connect, engage, and grow with your members. My name is Harris Azmi. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at SoGoSurvey, and it is my privilege to walk you through some of the things that we really have been building and working with the credit unions specifically in terms of helping them understand their member or measuring their member experience and helping them really grow their business by providing the data that they need in order to make good decisions. Today's presentation is around a very broad topic, but mostly focusing on members. Before we really dive into, I just want to give you a quick presentation in terms of who we are and what we do. I want to just leave with three things, which is one is we are a business intelligence software company, and the intelligence that we build is between two things: the stakeholders, which could be your customers, members, employees, vendors, anybody you deal with, and the data that you have about those members. And we help you bring the two together in order to provide a better experience to your members, better engagement for your employees. That's exactly what we do. And we do use this technology for our own good, of course, and a good testimony of that is the fact that in the last 6 years since we have been doing this, we have won several awards, recognitions. If you just type our name in Google, you'll find out that we have tons of reviews online from our users, and you can see who they are, how they have used us, and you will see across the board 5-star rating for our products, for our service, for our ease of use, for the depth that we provide. It is amazing how much our customers are enjoying our product. Who do we work with? We work across different industries, and you will notice that financial services is one of the industries that we work with. And within financial services, what we have done, if you visit our website, you'll see we have a dedicated page for credit unions where we talk about, we have case studies and how we work with different credit unions to really help solve their survey problems, how to solve the problems around understanding their members, employees, and really help grow their business, essentially. Today's agenda, 5 main topics or big goals that I want to talk about. The first of which I definitely want to lay the background or give you the background about why we got into this credit union market. One of the main reasons really we embraced credit union market was that, again, if you look at it, the two core aspects of who we are, right, and what we do, members and data. Credit unions, right, they're constantly thinking, worrying about how do we ensure a better experience for our members. Your members, they have an experience. How can we provide better experience is the goal. And usually what we have seen is that very few credit unions really have enough data to really make a meaningful decision or inference out of it. So unless you do not have the data, you cannot have or you cannot provide a good member experience. Here's where we come in. We come in and provide you with the data, the missing data that you have, use the existing data that you have about your members, and start to provide you with intelligence that can help you grow the business. Something I want to share with you, a very interesting study that J.D. Power and Associates did in 2016. They do this survey every year where they try to find out the customer satisfaction within the financial services sector. And then they found out that in 2016, that was the first time when big banks took over all the other banks when it came to customer satisfaction. I think it's a big deal because credit unions, whether they have a perception or a not so impressive perception within the community, but we do know that the members consistently rate the service that they get within the credit union branches or the banks is probably by far the best. They have outperformed every other bank's mid-level or big banks when it came to customer satisfaction. But in 2016, something happened and that changed. And what we have found is that, of course, the reason is obvious to all of us, and I want to just emphasize that, is that the relationship, the experience that we're measuring, has moved on to digital apps. It has gone online. Now people are interacting with your products and services mostly through online banking, mobile banking, whether it's or maybe phone banking. There's now fewer and fewer interactions with real human being, or the visits to the branch have really gone down. And the millennials, which is now the fastest growing and the biggest group now in the coming years, we have noticed that they just prefer to do everything online. So the relationship has gone digital. But something else is happening along that, in that path. The tools that the big banks have or have had access to in the last few years, they were extremely expensive. They needed months of implementation time. And when I say expensive, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. You needed the software, the personnel who know how to use that software. But that has changed. Today, I don't think any organization has any excuse for not using a tool or the analytics that is needed to understand your customers or members. And likewise, if credit unions continue to ignore better understanding the members and providing a very customized solution that comes with this increased expectation for the personalization that members expect now, I think credit unions risk the relationship abandonment. And the point all I'm trying to make is that digital relationship is key now in improving or enhancing the member experience. It can no longer be ignored. So that was the background I wanted to lay. Now, the other thing that we do know that credit unions face is a perception problem. Majority of these studies that done consistently show that a good number of members within the community do not have the right perception about credit unions. Right? Credit unions do provide good online banking, good mobile banking, but the perception is that this intersection of online banking, mobile banking, that very few credit unions actually have online banking and mobile banking that are on par and secure like the other big banks. Whereas the reality is that most credit unions actually do provide online banking and mobile banking. And the conclusion we continue to draw is that the perception does not match the reality. Now, what do we do about it? Now, there are various things we can talk about it, but one of the things we definitely ask our credit union clients to do is to understand what is the perception of their members. And in here, I would say, try and find out. If you haven't done this perception study, I would say reach out to your members and find out what is their perception about your credit union, about your products and services. And one of the things we can do using our tool or software is that we can use our tool to be an effective education tool. By that I mean I can create a survey that will ask questions that are not just trying to collect data or feedback, but is also educating the participant, your members. So here I have thrown an example of that. Let me show that to you. So it's a survey we call How Well Do You Know Your Credit Union? And you can design this to match your brand, look and feel. I'm not going to get into that. So the questions here are specifically designed to either have an answer of true or false. So first question I have here is, like most big banks, my credit union, which is this fictitious credit union I'm talking about, my credit union charges a monthly fee for checking and savings account. And clearly, most credit unions we know that don't. So those who do answer click on false. They're like right. And then you can even have a statement that says we don't, we never will, saving you hundreds of dollars a year. And those who end up saying or may say like, yeah, I believe you do that, You can say wrong, try again. Or you can have again that statement right there letting them know that you do not. So you can have a series of such statements where you can continue to ask these questions. So you're collecting two things. Number one, you're collecting the perception of your members about your products and services, or if you want to make it very generic, the way we have it here, understand really what is their perception about credit unions. And if you find out that 60% of your credit union members have a very negative perception about certain things, maybe it's time to do a campaign around that within the branch, sending newsletters, emails, letting them know that guess what, we have this and we do provide that, completely helping you really mobilize your marketing team to tackle that challenge. And you can run this as a promotion, get people excited, your members excited to participate in a program or a quiz like this by, providing some incentives, and you'll be amazed how good a response you will get and what you can do with that data that you collect. So once you have this thing, once you have this data, there are many ways it can be used, but moving on to the next topic, ideas for successful surveys. In my interaction with hundreds of clients, what we have learned is that many companies who do surveys, their approach, their method of conducting surveys eventually yields either little to no data, usually ending the entire or rendering the entire exercise of conducting surveys useless. And I wanted to talk about a few things. This in itself could be a topic for the entire webinar, but I wanted to, in a very nutshell, provide some incentives, some data to our webinar participants today so that you can take advantage of this and hopefully make better surveys, collect more responses, and make better decisions. Before I dive into that, there's something I wanted to ask all the attendees today. When you do a member survey, whether it's the annual member satisfaction survey that you do, that exercise, is it mostly data-oriented, meaning you're doing just to collect data, or do you also use that opportunity to build relationship? In my experience, what we have seen is that majority of the clients that we work with, for them it is a pure data collection activity. And we tell them that this is also an opportunity for you to build a relationship. Because again, member data, and we're trying to collect data clearly, but then how you phrase the questions, what you ask your members, just know that in a subtle way, you're also educating them. So in light of that, what we say is that a good survey is a dialogue. It's a good conversation, and if it is done right, it will help you build relationship, or rather strengthen the existing relationship with your members. I'm going to give some examples of how do we create a survey that makes it a more of a relationship building exercise rather than just a pure data collection exercise. Now, when it comes to member surveys, I'm not just talking about the member satisfaction survey. It could be any survey. I've taken 6 examples from our survey bank. There are many surveys on many topics that you can really go and pull the survey from and start to conduct surveys. Whether you want to do a bank branch service survey or a mobile banking, new account experience, bank loss survey, any of these. You even want to do employee-related surveys, you can do that. But again, I'm focusing here on member surveys. Once you have decided on what topic you want to do the survey, there are a few golden rules that I want to share with you that will help you improve the quality of your survey, yielding better result. Number 1 is focus. What I mean by that is just know what is the most important topic that you want to tackle in that survey. So let's take, for example, a new member service, account opening experience survey. You want to find out new members who open their account. 3 months down the road, you do a survey with them, and you try to find out what is their experience like. Now, A lot of times we've seen that many credit unions would go like all out and asking all kinds of questions because now they want to know really who helped you, what was the experience like, how was the waiting time, what was the lobby like where you were waiting, how was the refreshment served to you, and what happens as a result of which is that you're collecting a lot of data. I mean, hopefully you're collecting a lot of data if everybody starts to answer those questions. But the question is, what is the most important topic question in that survey that you know you need the response to so that you can move forward by making a change or make a decision based on that. And once you focus on that, you'll find out there are many, many questions you can do away with. That refreshment is great. I can skip from this survey at least. So it definitely helps you cut down the number of surveys that you ask. And then audience, that's the second point. So it is important for you to know who it is that you're reaching out to. In the example that I gave above, you're reaching out to your members. But within members also you can have further classification. New member or an old member. Definitely if you're reaching out to a member who's been a member with this credit union for more than 10 years, your questions to that member should definitely be very different than somebody who's just signed up last month. A tool, what SoGoSurvey does is for the same survey that you have, we're able to customize the questions that we ask. The number of questions we ask or the type of questions that we ask can be dynamically, automatically be transformed and ask those questions, different questions to different groups of members. You can do that. So definitely know the audience, not just members and employees or vendors, but also within the members who you are reaching out to, like we talked about. The third point is data. Again, this is linked with the focus. Once you get the focus right, then you also want to know what is that most important critical data that you need in order to move forward. So the question is, for example, in the 3 months that the members have been with this credit union, what is the experience like? I can do that by asking multiple questions, different types of questions. One of them could be, would you recommend credit union to your friends and colleagues on a scale of 0 to 10, the typical NPS, Net Promoter Score survey? And using that, I can start to predict really what is the experience of this member in the last 3 months. And we can dig down into why it has been great, if it is great, and if it is not so great, then why? What's hindering the experience? We can start to. And so knowing that information will help you craft the right type of question within the survey. Connection. That's the fourth point. How do you connect with audience? This is becoming more and more relevant with every passing day because you find out that your members are not only available to you via email. They also hang out online. They also use your mobile app. They also do online banking. Do you want to embed these surveys within your app, within your online banking system? It could be a little icon right there where they log in. They can click on it and participate. Or it could be sent via newsletter. It could be on social media channels. So different avenues that you have, channels that you have of reaching out to your members is critical. So think about that. And finally, the action. I think it is important and will be very helpful to you if you know what you are going to do once you have the data. Really, what will that action look like? Once I understand, am I ready to make a change? Am I going to share that change with everybody in the organization, with the members? I think it is important. So there are many, many things that really you can do when it comes to designing a good survey. We didn't even get into the look and feel of the survey and the branding and the question types and making it more interactive and fun. We can do that. But these are so critical that if you focus on these, you will end up with shorter, more pertinent questions, and questions use the language in such a way such that it also helps them to understand your value proposition a little better. A lot of times what happens is once even you design a good survey, we continue to hear from many of our prospects and customers is that I'm not getting enough response rate. And what we have done is written a lot of white papers on this, best practices of what you can do to improve your response rate. Again, we have a case study, multiple case studies, but we have one specific within credit unions that we helped HealthShare Credit Union, where we took their response rate from 5 or 6% to 35% once they switched over to SoGoSurvey. And should hear the CEO of the HealthShare Credit Union really talk about this. She couldn't believe that she was like, I'll be very happy with 15, 20%. And then we ended up taking it to 35%, at which point she said, I have enough data, really, I can run this report. So what are the things that we ask our clients to do? Again, once you have followed those 5 steps of designing a beautiful, good survey, we're saying that make sure that your surveys are fast and fun. By that I mean not only they are short, but also the question types that you have used. Make it more interactive. Make it go beyond just those check boxes and radio buttons. Use some more imagery there. Use some visual representation of emotions that you're trying to measure. Distribution. Again, we talked about it. I don't want to repeat the same thing, but here I want to bring focus on not only on the channels that you will use to distribute the survey, but also talk about when you will send it out, whether it's a Monday morning or a Friday evening, or those are bad times and you don't want to. That is also very important. Do you want to send the survey out just before a major holiday? Probably not. Those are the kind of things you definitely want to. In some cases it may work, some cases it may not work, depending on really what kind of surveys you're running. So having that information and thinking about it will help you gather more response rate. Communication, spreading the word, creating a buzz is very important. If I'm doing it in a deep dive and I'm doing an annual member satisfaction survey, I definitely want to plan this thing out, way up ahead. And let every branch display a poster talking about it. Let every newsletter that you send out, let every email signature, let your members know on social media, within your, again, online banking, mobile apps. You can we will be sending in survey during this week or on this day. Please fill out so we can help you serve better. So creating this expectation definitely will help you collect more responses. And then finally, again, just like on the previous slide, there are so many points we can talk about, but I'm only going to talk about just the few very critical ones. The final point in this is that follow up. How many times you've done a survey, you have collected data, but never shared that data or any kind of data with the members? What did you do with that data? They don't hear back in most cases from the organizations that do the survey. So what happens is that there is a certain disconnect. That trust that we are trying to build is kind of compromised because I'm asking all these questions. You're providing the feedback. Many members in total earnestness provide all kinds of feedback, but they never hear back what happened as a result of that feedback that they provided. Following up, letting them know that we hear you, we have heard you, we've learned a lot of things, and as a result of which we're making a few changes. One of the changes that we know we're making immediately is, and you can list one of those things, and you will see what happens is that people will love that, will feel more appreciated, and next time when the members get a survey, I think they'll be more enthusiastic in taking that survey. So that is all about really ideas for successful surveys. The fourth point that I want to talk about is again a very, very interesting topic. It's an emerging topic. It's a topic that I know a lot of banks implement this. Big banks implement when it comes to the entire customer experience side of the data collection. I want to talk about the difference between deep dive and CX. So deep dive is your annual member satisfaction survey, an example of that. You create questions around multiple topics. You try to understand really how members perceive your products and services. And you ask a lot of questions. Whereas the other side of this is the event-based surveys, or the CX side of it, is that you do not create a very long survey, but you create multiple surveys, many surveys, right? But they're short. And by short, I mean 1 or 2 or 3 questions. That's it. And then they're event-based, meaning you ask these questions not at one point in time. Let's say in summer, we will run the annual satisfaction survey. No, we will launch these surveys based on the activity that the member provides. Member calls in support line. Should we send a survey once that call ends? Member applies for a loan. Should somebody reach out a week after the member fills in the loan application asking them, how's everything going? So those are the things that really now are more in tune with the kind of surveys that banks are doing. They are doing deep dive once a year, but then they're building these very short survey that are sent out to members based on their interaction and behavior with the credit union. An example of that is you see this survey. It's a 1-question survey. Actually, what you're looking at is the invitation up to the survey and the survey itself, all embedded within the email. And this is the NPS survey that measures loyalty. So let me go into a little bit of detail about the customer experience that we provide, the CX software that we provide. One of the things we just talked about, NPS, Net Promoter Score, definitely helps you identify who amongst your members are most loyal, who would recommend your credit union to their friends and colleagues. And it's a dial scale that you see here. We help you measure. It's a score that goes from -100 to 100. Clearly, we help you understand what is a good score, and we also help you understand really who amongst your members are very loyal, who amongst them are we call them passive. They're neither very excited about your product, nor they're tuned out to an extent where they will backbite about you. And the third category is that, these are people who are probably talking negative things about you out there. So we help you understand these 3 groups. And once you know who these 3 groups are, you are able to then fine-tune and follow with this group to understand why is the experience not the best. Along with loyalty, we also help you measure satisfaction. Now, sometimes what happens is that NPS questions are not enough. You do want to ask questions around certain topics and find out really whether the customers are satisfied or not. An example of that is, if I ask loyalty-related questions, I like what you call the credit union that I use. Its branch is right near my house. I like it. It gets my work done. I don't think much about it, and I would have no hesitation in recommending it to others. But when it comes to satisfaction, what happens if another branch or another credit union opens up in the neighborhood? Right? Are our products and offerings, our front desk members, are they really making sure that the members, when they step in, they are treated the right way, so when they leave, they have this positive experience, overall positive experience? So measuring all of those aspects really cannot be predicted by a loyalty score. What we need for that is the satisfaction score. And then there's another score that we help you measure, is the effort score. This is very critical now that most credit unions have mobile banking and online banking. Many members, they love the fact that you have mobile banking and online banking. But how easy is it to use? I think that's a question that is not answered by loyalty or satisfaction. It is answered by this effort score. Because are you satisfied with our products, with our mobile app? Yeah, I'm satisfied the fact that I can get my work done. I am able to deposit a check. I'm able to transfer funds. It's all great. But if you start to ask me specifically, how easy is it to use this mobile app? I get into the details of ease of use, the usability side of the software. And then you realize that maybe we have issues. And that is the another scale that we provide. And the beautiful thing is that once you design all the right questions, right surveys, and you put them in the right places, and then you forget about it, every day you come to the branch and you run this report dashboard and you see these scores and more in-depth report that starts to tell you really how things are progressing. We also help you understand the relationship between these three scores. And so anytime there is an uptick or downtick in any of these scores, you can start to see that one is definitely connected with the other two, and they have an impact over each other. So here I'm showing you over an extended period of time, something happened. Now, in your case, you would know that if there is a change, you want to know what happened. What is the big event that happened? Oh, we had a release. We updated our mobile app, as a result of which we see that effort score went up, as a result of which the satisfaction score also improved. But we do not see any improvement in the NPS score. But clearly you will start to see patterns and behavioral impact of one over the other and how the different scores are interlinked with each other. Moving on to the final topic. So if you remember, initially I said we're going to talk about how to engage, connect, and grow with your members, right? So this is the growth part. Loan growth is a big aspect, is a big activity of any bank, and you definitely want to find out and figure out ways of how you can have your members, qualified members, come to you for all loan activities. And so we have put together something that is very interesting, a software that will allow you to measure whether your existing members, right, have a loan with another bank, whether it's a car loan, mortgage, personal loan, or any other loan with another bank. And if they do, what is the APR, the interest rate that they pay on that? And if they are paying a higher interest rate than what you provide to your members, clearly you want to let the member know that you can save hundreds of dollars with us by switching over to us. So let's talk about that. I'm again going to run this example here, loan growth survey demo. And again, here I have a fictitious credit union that I have created here. So the survey looks like this, alone together. The question that we ask is, do you currently have an auto loan? And we're focusing just on auto loan to drive home a point, but this could be any loan or multiple loans. Do you currently have an auto loan with a financial institution other than my credit union? Let's play the scenario where the person or the member says, yes, I do have a car loan with another bank. Then we say, what's the interest rate on your loan? Now, again, this is something some members may not remember or may not be willing to provide. So having a language like this, that my credit union offers a very competitive car loan. If you're overpaying in car loans, we can help you save hundreds of dollars today. So let's say I say, yeah, I'm paying 4.5% interest rate. The moment I put that, what I find is that the software says, good news, my credit union can offer you a better rate. Right there, the decision is made. Now, if I put in, let's say 2%, you'll see that thing goes away. Because you do know that you will not be able to provide a car loan at less than 2%. And you can program what that threshold is for your credit union. It's very easy. Again, I go back to 4.5%. It says, yes, you can. And then you say, are you interested in saving? And you say, yes. And then as a result of which, we ask them to enter their first name, last name, contact information, submit. And the moment you submit, two things happen. Number one, an email alert goes instantly to a loan officer saying that this member is interested in switching over her car loan to the credit union. You can pull all the information about the member. You can see, make up a phone call, set up a time, meet, and hopefully get this loan over to your bank. In many cases, because we already know who the member is, we don't even need to ask them to provide us this information. If they say yes, you simply submit. And then we also send an email to the member letting them know that somebody will reach out so on your behalf. So clearly what you have done is that generated a lead, brought in a somebody who might be interested in growing and interested in getting a loan with you. Now, let's play the scenario where the member might say, no, I do not have a loan. You can follow up with a question, are you looking to buy a car soon? Again, same thing. If you say yes, then clearly you can ask them to try or reach out to you. Provide the contact information, and loan officer can reach out. And again, you can use this opportunity to advertise your what's unique about your loan. So here I have thrown in another example. Enjoy no payments for 90 days. So sometimes what might happen is that the loan rate that you provide may be very similar or close to what they currently have, but sometimes a secondary offer attached to that might make it a little bit more interesting. You never know. And so here's another opportunity. And if the person says, no, I don't have a car loan and I'm not looking to buy a car soon, anytime soon, you have at least collected a data point. You do know something about that member. So again, you run this at a regular interval every 6 months. And again, you don't have to keep running it the same members. You can ask this with your new members as they open account. Do they currently have loans elsewhere that you can help bring here? And also, if you do this, put this on your website so you don't just have to talk to your members, but you could also be talking to your potential members because they go to your website, they may see this survey, they may participate, and then be interested in bringing other loans over to you. So that was, in essence, really a loan growth survey demo that you just saw. With that, we're at the end of our demo. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to reach out via email to each and every one of you. I'll also email this presentation deck to you so you can play with some of those sample surveys that we have built in. If you have any questions, reach out to us, 703-542-9595 or support1@SoGoSurvey.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.